Today we're going to be going inside the shop at this wonderful new distillery, well, relatively new distillery, and showing you everything that they've got to offer. I've been here before, and I love this place. They've got a wonderful cafe, the tasting room is top notch, and the staff are lovely too. There's always something interesting to try. So follow me and let's see what they've got in store. You've probably seen with Jake in the distillery tour video, the tasting room. I think this is really nice. It's super cozy, lots of little individual sofas and chairs lying around, Cotswolds branded pillows and cushions, and a fantastic bar at the end. But that's not really what we're here to see. We're here for the shop. So we're gonna go back out and see what's on the floor. Starting here, there's lots of nice little gift packs and glasses. I think a lot of people that come to the Cotswolds are here because of a holiday and they're able to pop in. So it's really great to see that there's some packs you can pick up for friends and family. I think what a lot of people here will be here for though is the hand fill. What's really interesting about the Cotswolds casks is that these casks here, as far as I'm aware, don't have any kind of plastic or glass inside them. So actually as the liquid goes into the cask to be bottled for the hand fills, my understanding is effectively they continue to age a little bit inside the cask. So at the minute, we've got a 7-year-old STR cask, 55.4 ABV, and it's 125 pounds. Now, I tried this with Rob earlier on in our sit-down chat, so I'm sure there'll be a link in the video below to have a look at that if you want to find out how that SDR cask tastes. So as you come into the shop as well, there's a really beautiful display that always changes with the seasons as well. And I love what the team do to make it look really attractive to people when they walk in. There's all kinds of different bottles available here. And to be honest, I could probably spend 5 minutes just on this table alone. This Spanish oak is interesting because actually it's a travel retail exclusive. So normally you'd need to be going out of one of the UK's airports to be able to pick this up. So effectively the only other place you can buy it in the country is right here at the distillery shop. As always, it's great to see little 20cl bottles as well. Nice little pickups as well if you're not sure what you want or if you just want a smaller, lower price memento. The distillery does also sell new make clear as well. 63.5% in 500ml bottles. And that comes in at £40 a bottle, which I think is probably pretty reasonable given you get 500ml of it. Makes a nice cocktail again. Jake and I had differing opinions on that. I think I liked it more than him, but it is a really interesting thing to try. And then background here, we've got a number of limited releases as well. For me, the Amber Meadow, both in terms of taste and also the story behind it, was absolutely fantastic, with art by a renowned local artist given to Alice, the distillery manager and blender, as a brief. And that's all she got, a picture. Try and make a whiskey that tastes like this picture. And she has done an absolutely cracking job. It's really fantastic, and I love everything about this release. It's fantastic. Price on this one is £100 a bottle. It's higher than normal strength. It's 51.6%, and it is a mix of bourbon and Madeira casks, and also a little bit of not peated malt, but whiskey that has been in a peated extra Lefroy cask. But it's, don't worry if you're not a peat fan, this is not something where you can really get a smoky vibe from it. In fact, if I hadn't have been told, I probably wouldn't have noticed at all. And then finally on the table as well, the Franchino. So 3 of the team have been asked to pick out single casks this year, and this is a classic ex-bourbon cask, aged for around 8.5 years, first fill bourbon, and bottled at 51% ABV. Again, it's about £125 for this one. And the Cotswolds as well have also spent a number of years distilling gin as well as whiskey. And so actually, whilst it's not the core thing that we talk about, there is a wall full of gin as well. Don't ask me too much about it. There's all kinds of different colours, shades, types, from wildflower gin through to Old Tom gin and gin essence as well. I don't even know what gin essence is. Someone in the comments is sure to tell me what it is and put me out of my misery. I might have a look at that later just so I can work out what on earth it is. And then as well, actually, what you also see is Cotswolds have got a little bit of a collaboration going with Highgrove, King Charles's kind of former home when he was Prince Charles. And so this dry gin here comes with wildflower seeds, but what's probably more interesting to the whiskey lover is just over here. I'm not going to lie, £250 is quite a lot for any bottle of whiskey, especially a non-age stated bottle of whiskey. This is clearly not for everyone, but again, it's not just any bottle of whiskey. So this is Highgrove single malt whiskey, and it has been made with barley taken from the fields at Highgrove, as said, King Charles's former residence when he was Prince Charles. And the painting on it is actually being made by His Majesty the King himself. So, like I said, it's not cheap, but it's certainly unique and not something you see every day, and has been done completely in collaboration with the team at Highgrove. Over here, we've got a mixture of some of the core range and some of the limited edition bottlings that Cotswolds do. So on top of the signature range, which you've got various different sizes for, different gift packs that come with glasses as well, you have the core range as well. And the core range is differentiated by the different colours on the labels and the boxes. So you have the peated cask single malt, small batches between 59.6 and 60.4% that has been matured in ex-Lefroy Corsa casks. You then have the bourbon cask single malt coming in at 59% ABV with the orange label and the box. Over here, we've got the Founder's Choice. So this is STR casks and comes in between 59.1 and 60.5%. The reason why this is called the Founder's Choice rather than the STR release or something else is because Dan, the founder, this is his favourite type of cask, foundational really to the Cotswolds Distillery and their way of working, their way of operating, something that will always be part of the way that the distillery operates. And so that's his choice, and that's what probably he would be picking. And down here, we have the sherry cask single malt, and that one comes in at 57.5% as well. There's also some whiskey liqueurs down here as well, coming in at 17 and 40%, and then also some of the Hearts and Crafts releases as well. So these are seasonal releases coming out every spring. We've already talked about the Amber Meadow, part of the Harvest series that comes out every autumn. This is a Pinot de Charente cask, a really interesting cask type, and it is a fortified wine or liqueur that my family love to have at Christmas. And basically it's unfermented grape juice that is used effectively to bring down the strength of eau de vie that would otherwise become cognac, that's then aged in French oak. And Pinot de Charente can be aged anywhere from kind of 2-3 years up to 30 plus years, or in the case of the last drop, they bottled a 100-plus-year-old Pinot. And whilst I'm sure the Pinot in here was not aged for 100 years before, again, it's an unusual cask type, not one you see every single day of the week. And it's certainly something that is interesting and worth checking out and trying. What I will say over here, there's a little bar just by the entrance. The team here, super friendly, and most of the stuff that I've shown you today is available to try and taste as well, which is great because sometimes you come to a distillery, go on a tour, go to a shop, and it's not always clear what it is you might want to take away. And so that ability just to have a little taster, which is what happened the first time I came here, is really, really welcome to be able to say, actually, hey, I can only afford one bottle, maybe two if I'm lucky, feeling like I'm splashing out. Where do I start? Where do I begin? As I said, there's a lot of tourists that aren't necessarily super into whiskey. It's more accessible as a location than Scotland for a lot of people, including people that come from overseas. So, you know, for me, having that bar and the ability to have a taste is really, really important. So the last whiskey that I'm going to highlight is this one, a commemorative edition with Milk and Honey, an Israeli distillery. And Milk and Honey was also working very closely with the late Dr. Jim Swan, who helped in the 2000s and 2010s set up a bunch of new distilleries from Caverland in the east all the way here to Cotswolds. And obviously he's now sadly passed away. And this bottle has been done in collaboration with Milk and Honey, another one of the distilleries that he helped found and work on STR casks with in commemoration of his life. And so this is a 50% bottle at £120 and a limited small batch release of just 700 bottles. The other thing about Cotswolds is actually the food. There are so many people that come in here for a coffee, slice of cake, or lunch. So actually, we've only seen half of the building. If you come around here, Not only can you effectively see the old distillery through the window over here, but there's a really welcoming area that sometimes has a fire burning. Again, great sofas, lovely staff, and there's so much on offer. So for me, whilst it's not the biggest shop in the world, it has been really beautifully presented and curated. A lot of thought has gone into it. There's always a lot on offer. You can try just about everything you want. There is a fill your own. I think if you're ever anywhere nearby, it's worth popping in. Even if you just have a cup of tea, try a dram or two, and go away with a 20 cl of the classic signature bottle. Thank you for joining us at the Enthusiast series, and we will see you again very soon.